Hey everybody, in this video I'm going to talk to you about how to measure correctly. We're going to practice it in class, and we're going to relate it to accuracy and precision. Okay, so when you're measuring things, there's a way to properly measure using an instrument. The proper way is to guess one extra digit beyond the given lines, and I'll show you a couple of examples of this. But you guess one extra digit beyond the given lines on a measuring tool. Also, we always use metric units, not imperial units, right? So we use centimeters instead of inches, we use liters instead of gallons, etc. So there are a variety of tools we'll use in chemistry class. One of those is a ruler, and you'll see that right here. And a graduated cylinder, which is used to measure volumes, and that's right over here. And we have a digital scale which we use to measure the weight or the mass of things, and that's right here. And then we have a thermometer, which is used to measure temperature, and that's right over here. And even though beakers right here have lines, we don't use them to make measurements because actually those lines are just suggestions. It just turns out that those lines are not very accurate. They're not very close to the right answer. They're not close to that measurement, so we don't use them. So how do you use a graduated cylinder? Well, you have to put your eye at the level of the liquid, as you see here. Your eye can't be above it, and your eye can't be below it. It's good to put a piece of paper behind the graduated cylinder, usually a white piece of paper behind the graduated cylinder. And you look at the bottom of the liquid. So if you're measuring things that are dissolved in water, which is usually what happens in chemistry class, a lot of the things are dissolved in water, you'll see that it forms this curve, right? Where the liquid actually kind of bends down, and when it touches the sides, it actually attaches to the side. It has cohesion to the glass or the plastic. But you can't measure at its highest level. You got to measure at its lowest level. And when you put that piece of paper behind it, it makes it more obvious. So anyway, you see that this 30 line, this 40 line, this 50 line, those are the big lines. Those are the major scale divisions. And you see these little lines that are in between the 30 and the 40, right? You actually have kind of a 35 there that's labeled, and that looks kind of like a major scale division. But you can see that there's actually 9 lines in between the 30 and the 40. And those 9 lines are 31, 32, 33, etc. Right? And so in this measurement, you see that it's above 35 and above 36, but below 37. So you would write as the answer 36, right? Those are the certain digits. And then you'd guess somewhere in between 36 and 37. Now, whether it's 36.4 or 36.5 or 36.6, right, there's some variation in there. But you write 36.5 milliliters. And this is actually the quiz, the first quiz in this class. I'm going to give you a 100 milliliter graduated cylinder, and you have to tell me what the volume is in there with the proper units. So if you get it right, you get full credit. If you don't, you get 0, but then you can take it again as many times as you need to show that you know how to use a graduated cylinder. So that means that when we do the lab on measurement, you should make sure you ask me how to take proper measurements. Again, these are the certain digits, and this is the one that you're guessing. That's the uncertain digit, because that area in between here, right, in between the 36 and 37, it doesn't have any more lines. So that means you have to guess. So one thing you do when you use a digital scale is you have to make sure you don't put the powders directly on the scale. You have to use a weigh boat. So a weigh boat kind of looks like a piece of plastic. It's a plastic dish. If you put the item on the scale, so here's my scale, right, and it has a digital readout on it, which tells me how much it weighs, right? If you put that on the scale, you're going to be weighing the weigh boat, right? This is the weigh boat. So what you do is you have to zero it or tare it. There's a button usually over here, right, which says tare, T-A-R-E, or 0. And when you hit that, it'll go back to 0.00, 0 right there, grams. And we always use grams because it's the metric unit for weighing. So how do we use a ruler or a thermometer? It's kind of the same concept. You find the certain digits, the ones where there are given lines, and you guess one more digit between the lines. and then you write the units. So you notice that what I've done here is I've made this blue rectangle, and I have a ruler set to it. Notice we don't use this side, right? That's the imperial units, inches. We don't use that side. But you see that it's 6.5, right? The 5 is right there. And it's past that. It's past 6.6. It's past 6.7, but it's not quite at 6.8. So maybe it's 6.7, right? That's the certain digits. And then you have to guess one more, right? And then you have to write centimeters. You could also do millimeters. Millimeters are 10 times more, so it would be 67.5 millimeters. And notice that the millimeters and the centimeters are both on this scale. The centimeters are these big numbers, the millimeters are those little lines, right? Again, this concept of major scale divisions and minor scale divisions, and you have to guess between those, that you have to guess in that uncertain area to get the correct measurement. So this all relates to, can we measure something accurately? And can we do it the same way every time? So if you look at it in a textbook, you'll often see accuracy is defined as closest to the right answer. And precision is defined as how close answers are to each other. And then you usually see this thing where you're playing darts and there's a target, and you see that, okay, if all the darts are really close together, it's precise. So you see that all the darts in this case are really close together, and it's near the bullseye. Well, these ones are also really close together, except they're not near the bullseye. That's why it's precise, but it's not accurate. Notice that these ones are not, in this third picture, are not close together, but it's relatively accurate. It's pretty close to the right answer. But this is neither accurate nor precise because it's further away from the target and the answers aren't close together. But how does this relate to chemistry? When I would see these figures, I'd always be really confused. So about how this relates to chemistry. Well, if you're measuring small volumes in small graduated cylinders, you can get answers that are from different people that are very close together, and you're going to be very close to the answer. But imagine if you used a really large graduated cylinder, right, which had this much liquid in it, right? You're not going to be able to measure it very accurately, and the answers are going to be very dissimilar because the lines, the major scale divisions and the minor scale divisions are really far apart from each other. The numbers are. If you use a large graduated cylinder, it can lead to large differences between people, so you get low precision. So you're going to see this in the lab. We're going to use really large graduated cylinders, and you can get different answers from different people. And they're not going to be as close to the right answer. Now, the key is that we don't really know what the right answer is. You get a better and better measuring tool to get an answer closer to the right answer, but you'll actually never get the right answer because it's impossible. That's what measurement is all about. It's about uncertainty, and that's why we have to learn sig figs. So I hope this helped you understand some basic concepts and how to measure things, and we're going to practice that in class. Thanks. Bye.